poking around on the Zoom community answering a few things. So
That's good. You're
So
always more.
everyone look,
uh,
if you have upgraded to 5.7.1, look at the top of your Zoom window. You'll see the new notification system that came out with it.
I think we have a different number being a Windows person. Let's see.
Ah, maybe.
5.7.0
So
are
5.7.1 is
current.
the latest for Mac at least.
Yeah.
it came out a couple of days ago, I think, also
Yeah.
from, yeah.
Oh, my heavens.
Also, they have Zoom for Windows PC as well. Didn't know.
We are live on YouTube now.
Yeah, should I put up my music on? Do we need the music? I don't know. Let me pop it on for us. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen. Good to see all of you. By the way, if you didn't know, today is, hold on, our show is being live streamed. And the reason I know that, oh goodness, yeah, the reason I know that is because there's a new notification if you are on a Mac at least, and you upgrade to 5.7.1, oh, we're gonna get that. Sorry, ignore the image. That's not what matters. What matters is up at the top here. The meeting is being live streamed, and then I have leave meeting or okay. That used to come up as a big old pop-up right in the middle here. Oh, look at that when I move my mouse. That's pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah,
That's
that is
cool.
pretty cool. But now they have moved the notifications up to the top here. So it's a little less intrusive. And it allows you to continue with your meeting if you, even if you aren't able to just, get rid of that right away. But that was up on my screen because we are indeed live streaming and we have all of our friends here. Good to see everyone. Let's make the rounds and say hi. We've got the Ray Squared with us. We've got the, what did you say, Ray Franklin? The Smart Ray and then Ray Franklin. What?
He's the smart Ray.
God forbid. No.
Greetings, guys. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Ronnie, good to see you here. Oh my, wait a second. Now you're a different color background. I'm so confused.
Yeah, it's LED lights. Coming to the Zoom kitchen from the Arctic North. So
wow. Okay.
happy
From
to
Norway.
join.
Good to have you here, Ronnie. Really nice to see you. Ray Harwood. Hello, my friend.
Hi. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Happy New
How
Year to everybody.
you have family in town? Everyone's healthy and good, I think, I hope.
Everyone in my family is healthy, but I can tell you the number of people that have written to me either about flu or COVID being in their household in the last couple of weeks is
Wow.
huge. So yeah.
Wow. It's coming back, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully people will stay healthy and safe. Mr. Idelson.
Stay home and stay on Zoom.
Stay home. That's right. Just stay on Zoom, everyone. Mr. Idelson. Speaking of Zoom.
Greetings from Monterey, and also wishing for a happy 2024 and happy to see 2023 go away.
Do we say that every year come December? Just we're glad to see it go away.
There's some years I would repeat. 2023 was not one of them.
That was not one of them. All right. Fair enough. Mr. Mike.
How is everybody?
How you doing, sir?
Doing good. Happy New Year to everybody in the YouTube world. Any questions or concerns, let the panel know in chat.
Bring them up. We're here to answer those questions. We also have Tony Mobley here with us, who is off camera, but we're saying hello to him. Oh, I just muted myself. Sorry about that. I wanted to just give a quick update. Two things, actually. So I complained last week about the Windows switching, my Windows switching problem. So just in 2 seconds, quick recap. So the issue was I've got 3 monitors. I put my 2 Zoom monitors, my 2 Zoom windows on 2 of the monitors, neither of them being the primary monitor. When I'm put into, or when I join a breakout room, or when I leave a breakout room, that secondary Zoom monitor was always jumping to another, to my primary window and going full screen. It was really frustrating and annoying. It was suggested to me, and I should have known this, of course, to go ahead and submit a ticket with Zoom support. I am consistently amazed at how quickly they respond. It really just is somewhat astonishing to me. They got back to me. They said it's a known behavior and they're working on it. So there wasn't a fix right away, but they knew about it. And to me, that's half the battle. Just knowing that I'm not the crazy one, that there's actually something wrong or something that isn't.
I wouldn't go so far to not say you're not the crazy one, but it's
Okay,
nice
thank
to
you.
know, David, that you're a known behavior.
Yes, I am a known behavior. I am a known behavior. So in any case, so that is for those of you crazy people out there who have 3 monitors and you have Zoom windows jumping all over the place. That is something Zoom's working on. I also just wanted to, I think it was here that we talked about these cute little guys that John told us about, these
Angry
magnetic
audio, everyone should
angry
have one.
audio. I got this. It came today, actually. It's the coolest thing in the world. If I just go like that, now I can't hear you. And it's magnetic. Now here's the only problem. My table, because of my desk is one of the standing desks, so the legs are metal. So when I do this and then it kind of drops down, it always sticks to the table. So I always have to reach under and grab it. So I'll have to figure that piece out. But these are
That's
really—
a feature, not a bug.
It's a
You
feature.
You know
That's
where it
That's
is.
how it works with
That's
mine.
right. These are really, so for those of you who don't know, this is, it's just a connector, a magnetic connector, almost like the MagSafe style. and but for all different types of wires. So I got a little 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch between my headset and my extension cable, and it's just fantastic. So if I have to run to the restroom, I no longer have to unplug. I can just walk away and it'll break right off. Really good stuff. So thank you for that. Yeah, so we got 5. Oh, we have some more friends here. Hey, Tony. Good to see you. We said hi already, but good to see you. And Hasmuk is here. Hasmuk, I was trying to, I should have known you can't replace Hasmuk. I was trying to open up my meters before the meeting, and it was requiring an ACE update, and I couldn't do it. But Hasmuk is here, which means life is good. Good to see you, sir. And I see Robert is with us also. And there are the meters. Good to see you, Robert.
Likewise, David, likewise.
Yeah. So we did get 5.7.1, which dealt with the Blue Man Group issue, dealt with the blue thing, apparently. We got that in an update a couple days ago, right? Yesterday, it looks like. Maybe it came out. So these are not the official release notes, but it says 5.17.1 removes the Smurf issue. That's not official, but it does come from a Zoomer. You'll not only be human again, but your ATEM will show full color range in Zoom when you select it as the camera. And then there's a note that if you go through another software, like a virtual camera, then that may not be the case. But for ATEM now, you can do that. And also we had the other update, which now this is actually interesting. This is a 8-second video of one of the really important changes in Zoom 5.17.1. So I'm gonna play the video for you. This is it. I want you to see if you can see what they're showing, because I missed it the first about 12 times. All right, so here we go. Did you see it? That you already missed it. So that's just how good this is, I think. So what they're showing is what I tried to show before, and we got the infinity loop, is right up here at the top. This is this meeting is being recorded, and you have leave meeting or okay. It's so subtle. I like it much better. I don't know about anyone else, but I like it much, much better.
I'm sure we'll hear on the Zoom community complaints, because now it's so small. I don't even know it's happening. There's always someone that'll complain on the Zoom community, but that's the way it is.
But in fairness, I will say, I kind of agree with that. It is very small. It is very out of the way, and that suits me just fine. But you're right. Some people will not like that. Yeah. You still get, what was the big pop-up? Oh, I wonder if they'll do this eventually. When I started this meeting, you still get the big pop-up that says AI Companion is on. Do you still want to use that? I would love for that. I'd love for all of them to end up in sort of a dock or a menu bar or something like that.
I think we talked a little bit last week about even another window that I could configure to be the notifications window, that I could put it where I want it, make it a single line, make it full screen if I
For hosts and admins, that would be fantastic. I think for normal folks that they'd never open it, and that's fine. But for us to be able to pop those out, I think you're right. That's a fantastic idea. By the way, I also speaking of notifications, I turned on the little ping when someone raises their hand. And what I discovered, I love it when I'm hosting the meeting. Because it wakes me up. But thank you, Robert. But I just got the ping. But I also really dislike it, because not only do you get the ping when you're the host of the meeting, you get the ping whenever you join any meeting now. Any meeting. And I was at a meeting yesterday from the state of Florida. It was a nightmare. There were like 300 people on, and the whole point of this meeting was for people to ask questions. So literally every 2 seconds, I was getting a ping when someone raised their hand. I want that notification if I'm a host, or maybe even a co-host. I don't want that notification if I'm just a participant. So
Can't you turn that off?
You can, but like I said, I want it as
Yeah.
a host. I don't want it as so yes, I could just, I guess, go and actually, where's the,
Do it in the participants window.
is it in the participants window? Let's see. More.
Usually the
Yeah. No. No, it's not in the participants window.
Are we talking about the raise hand function?
Yeah. Well, not
It's in
no,
the-
not the ping when someone raises their hand.
oh, it's the
It's
up
in it-
arrow next to raise hand.
Yeah.
Oh no, see, I don't have raise hand because
It might
Probably
be
over
in
in
your
your
more
more.
section, depending on your layout, David.
yeah, there it is. You're right. It's in the more section. Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Robert. Are you just doing that to mess with me, or do you have a question? You see, now I don't know anymore.
No, you said you needed to be woken up, so I was waking you up.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
No, actually, I toggled that switch off, and I wanted to see if it would chime in your ear, because this time I switched it off.
Ah, so you had it off for you, but I have it on for me, so I still heard it. Right.
And
Yeah.
in the co-host, under reactions, there's a pop-up that says recognize hand gestures and turn
That's
it
not
off.
just
So
that's not just in co-host. That's for everyone. I'm pretty
all
sure.
right.
Because
Okay.
that's the this thing, right? So if I turn that on and I go like this,
Oh, that's what the recognize is. Okay.
right? Except it's not recognizing it. Oh, there we go. So okay. So what you all couldn't see there is I put my hand up. I get the little hand icon on the bottom. Let me move this over, and we're gonna get the doohickey again. But so again, what's important is not the video here. So if you look though, right above, is it working? All right, now it stopped working. Hold on a second. Let me try this again. Okay, there it is. It's interesting. When I'm sharing my screen through this app, it's not seeing it.
And it brings me up.
Yeah, why would that be? That's so interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're beautiful.
I paid extra.
Yeah. Let me try one more time. There we go. So if you look on right above the reactions, I'm hoping that you all can see this. Right above my reactions button down here at the bottom, I put my hand up. You see, you get the hand and the little timer. That way, if you lower your hand before that timer goes the full way around, it won't raise your hand. It's to, you know, if you're a hand talker, it's to not falsely put up your hands. But if I do hold it up for long enough, boom, now my hand is up. And I can, now I don't know why this isn't working though. Oh, there we go. Same thing. You get overreactions. You know, this would actually, Mac OS could learn from this, because in the why is there a big thumb? That's weird. The Mac OS reactions, they're instantaneous. There's no pause. And so sometimes they'll just pop up for no reason whatsoever, which can be really annoying to some people.
What I really
There's
liked
two-
was the note that I got when I raised my hand. You're up next. Be ready to unmute your microphone when prompted.
Yeah, that's ZoomOSC working in the background.
Which is great though, because that, for our sessions with the parks, it's constantly, we're constantly telling people to be muted to protect that, and then they forget to unmute. So this is really
Right.
great for that.
Yeah,
This
so
is
just
something that Jeff wrote specifically for a big meeting that he holds, where he mutes everyone and doesn't allow anyone to unmute by themselves. But through that function, the person who's up next can unmute themselves. And so it was
Right.
a clever function that he built on that.
so I can show you, here we go. So this is So this is using ZoomOSC and Companion, which is in this meeting right now. So over here in Companion, I have a trigger, and this was built, I think it's a little different than his, but it's built on his idea, called On Deck. And so what I want something to happen when a condition becomes true. So what is the condition? The condition is when the person in gallery position 1 has their hand raised. When someone raises their hand, they're automatically moved to gallery position 1. And so whoever's going to be up, and so let's say, for example, that we had 3 people's hands raised right now. The first person who raised their hand, they would be in position 1. As soon as their hand is lowered, the next person scooches over, and then this would take effect for them. So what happens? So when they are, let's see, how do I show this? Hold on a second. So, oh, here it is. So when their hand is up, that's the condition, then 2 things happen. Number 1, pre-select the user by a gallery position. So as soon as they hop into position 1, OSC automatically chooses them, and I don't have to actually select them. The second thing that happens is a DM, a direct message is sent to them. You're up next, be ready to unmute your microphone when prompted. Yeah, this is, it's a really nice little trigger that we have
And
here.
David, if I can just hop in on that, if you're using ZoomISO, you can define an output as the gallery position. So when you select that and someone selects that, he automatically comes into that output. And yeah,
That's great.
It's really, really clever
That's nice.
and useful.
Yep. Really nice.
And David, just one thing, if I can just go back to those ringtones a second, I just want to make sure that you are aware that you can set up under your settings a separate audio device to play the ringtones and adjust the volume level. If you look into settings,
Well,
on your Zoom
let's
client,
do this. I mean, I'm not sure how I would do that because I don't want noises popping and pinging out all over the place. But all right, so I'm in settings.
yeah, and in audio,
In audio.
yeah, just below the output volume
You
level.
mean in the meeting settings?
in
I'm
the
sorry.
meeting settings? In the meeting
I'm
settings.
sorry. I was looking at on the back end. Give me a second. I'm going to pull it up for everyone to see. All right. Okay. So let's go in here. I've got this and I've got audio. So use separate audio device to play ringtones simultaneously.
Yeah. So then you can change the volume level. If that ringtone is getting on your nerves, you can bring the volume down so you hear
Right.
it, but it's not banging on your buffer.
Gotcha. So yeah, so I wouldn't want to do this only because I've got everything coming through my earbud, but and I don't think I can run this to a separate channel. But if you are just using an open mic or system or whatever, and you want to turn this down, absolutely.
But I think the actual design for that is for phone users, Zoom phone users, because some people may not have their normal phone audio, like you're wearing a headset and you put it off somewhere, but you've got another speaker. You want to be able to hear it ring. So, you know, to pick up your headset, you're getting a phone call and that sort of thing. I think it's designed for that.
Oh, that makes sense. So for a phone call, gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But it would work here also. But again, I except for the fact that it was dinging constantly, which in this other meeting, I'd love to be able to not have it on by default if I'm not the host or co-host. Having said that, as host or co-host, I love the functionality. It's been really helpful for me. So what else have we got, folks? I don't think there was anything else. Let me pull up the notes while we're talking for 5.17.1. Someone else jump in. I'm talking too much.
Yeah, nobody from YouTube as of yet asking any questions, so please do so, guys. We got 8 viewers. Come on in and ask us.
Did Windows get this update? 5.17.1? Yeah, you did.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Interestingly enough, by the way, sorry, I know I'm talking again. The ATEM issue, the blue issue, they didn't list that. That's just I assume that falls under minor bug issues that they addressed. But
I
there are
think it
only,
falls,
I actually
David.
had a
Go
I
ahead,
I
Tim.
had a brief discussion with Andy actually. He had posted in a couple of the threads on the Zoom community that, hey, for those of you that are experiencing this, 5.17.1 is out now and that fixes it. And so I logged onto YouTube or to Discord and said, thanks for kind of posting those updates. And I mentioned, it was funny to me that there was no mention at all in the release notes that this was actually fixed. And Andy's sort of take on it was that Zoom doesn't want to highlight that there actually might have been an issue with either ATEM software or something that they were having to code to work around and that sort of thing. And I kind of get that.
you didn't want to
But
call them
still,
out. It would be sort of calling out ATEM, you think?
that was his implication, and I just thought, well, at least you could put something in there that said, for those of you that were experiencing a problem in 5.17.0 with purple, Smurf people, this fixes that without calling anybody out. But some of the Zoom customers, I had 3 different posts from China. It was we've got ATEMs. Yeah, it was kind of unusual. So.
Interesting. The only other changes, the only other things in this update, both for Mac and PC, is update to OpenSSL.
I can explain that if you want, David.
Oh, I would love that. It now uses 3.1.4 and lower versions apparently had vulnerabilities. What's that about?
Okay, so I'll briefly talk about OpenSSL. So as everybody knows, everybody will you can go to your website and you go HTTPS. Well, that uses an SSL. So thus OpenSSL is actually shall we call it for layman's terminology, the software in the background that actually takes care of generating as well as encrypting sites and such, so that in this case, the Zoom client updated to use this OpenSSL 3.1.4 because there was, in the older versions of this OpenSSL, there were found security vulnerabilities in the encryption. So they had to very quickly update all the clients to make sure that the SSL is now, that vulnerability has disappeared and it's gone away now. But basically SSL is secure socket layer is what it is it basically allows for encryption between point A and point B. So in this case, for the Zoom client, it would be using the Zoom client to the Zoom server. In normal web browser base, it would be between your web browser and the web server.
From
where
my
you're getting your
from my
website from.
computer to Zoom's computer, basically, for us stupid people.
Right, if you want to go
Yeah.
that much
And
further, but
points.
specifically, it is specific to the software, right?
Gotcha,
Because again,
gotcha.
Chrome also had to update.
They each have their own SSL certificate or whatever it's called.
Well, they use they incorporate the OpenSSL. I'll use it in layman's terms, software into all their software as well, so that if they know that they're running that older version and it has that vulnerability, they must upgrade to the latest version to prevent any vulnerabilities or hackabilities.
Mike, can I rephrase that the way I understand it? If Zoom were not to have an active SSL certificate, when I went on their website, I'd get this big warning sign that their website is not safe. Are you sure you want to continue?
Correct, but in this case, this would be between the Zoom client itself and their Zoom streaming and their Zoom servers, right? So when we connect up to an actual meeting, that server itself is going to an HTTPS link as well, right? So again, if there's a vulnerability in both versions on the servers as well as the clients, then there is a possibility of man in the middle attack. Basically, you might have heard that in the news. They're talking about man in the middle attacks. Well, that's as soon as there's a vulnerability, then it's possible. So it's good that they're on it. That's very, very important because again, especially if you do use their end-to-end encryption functionality of Zoom, then 100% that's what they're using is OpenSSL.
Thank you.
And again, on the Zoom community, there were a number of posts from not just people who just joined Zoom community yesterday, but people who've been around the Zoom community for a while, and our IT type folks at either enterprise or education level accounts that basically said, if this isn't fixed quickly, my department has said we have to pull Zoom from our network. So I think that's one of the reasons that they decided, no, we're not going to put our customers out there for that.
Yeah, I would have loved Frank's opinion on this too. I think he would have been in that boat, Ray, as well.
Hmm. So is that in the notifications? And that's about it. By the way, we talked last week about a little bit about scheduler, or maybe it was the week before. I had an occasion a couple days ago to send out a poll. I had to schedule a meeting with a bunch of different people, and I remember saying, I think I said, that I would use the poll feature of Zoom Scheduler, and I went to Zoom Scheduler, and I started to set it up, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna use what I've always been using, and I went back to Calendly, and it reminded me of the challenge that any company has, but in this case, Zoom has, when it comes to creating something that already exists and is already done well, and getting people to jump ship and come over to their service. When we see Zoom Docs come out, I think we're going to have the same conversation, right? If they're doing what Google Docs or Word or whatever is doing, why are people going to make that leap? I am the target audience for Zoom Scheduler in many ways, and there was nothing wrong with it. It just I stayed with what was comfortable.
Well, to me, the feature of Zoom Docs will be the AI capability that it will sort of have, I believe, haven't seen it yet,
God, I
have
hope
some
not.
AI things kind of built into it that will give you a starting point. You can put in a couple of comments and it'll give you a starting point and you can edit that. I could do that now with ChatGPT or Perplexity or any of those things, but that to me would be the selling point, and I think everyone's going to come up with something like that along the way. But
you think that's gonna? Oh my goodness, I hope not. I hope AI isn't the killer feature.
Well, who knows? But we use Calendly at the parks, and it was sort of a push to get them to use it. I think there's lots of people who didn't go that step, and now when it's included, might make that jump, because we had to make a whole budget proposal to add it. It was a whole, the complaint then, it's another thing, it's an extra budget, but we needed it. So there's probably other people who didn't go that route, and now that it's available, we'll take advantage of it.
That's a really good point. If people aren't in another system and they've been waiting for this and they've already got a Zoom Business or Zoom EDU account, you're right. This makes perfect sense. Yeah. And
it cleaned up the way we were on our campus for scheduling our classes and meetings, separate from classes. The calendaring got confusing. And so this is going to unify all of that. Not that I won't still miss appointments. That's my prerogative.
Never. If it's on my calendar, it happens, no matter what. This kind of function, building this, we've talked a little bit about Zoom as a what's the word? Sorry.
Ecosystem.
Ecosystem. Thank you. As an ecosystem for productivity. When I think of productivity, I think about docs and collaboration and meetings and things like that. But in many ways, it also is making a foray into personal, sort of that not type A, that's who I am, but that executive functioning work. Did I just raise my hand?
Yeah, you had your hand up.
You sure did.
See, there you go. That's funny. I forgot to turn it off. Into
But I
executive
heard your hand raised in a separate speaker, just so you know. There's a real advantage to having that, you know.
Hey, wait, you know what though? I just got another pop-up. Wait a second. Can we try that? Let me try this again. I'm actually going to do this. And then, so now I'm going to talk. My hand is up. Now let me stop talking for a second. So now I have a pop-up that says, looks like you're done talking, so we'll lower your hand in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand is down. That I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So now Zoom is automatically lowering people's hands. I wonder if that works if I don't use the hand thingy dingy. Let me just raise my hand for.
I think it does.
Okay, so my hand is up now. I'm talking, and now I'm going to stop talking. Look at that. I got it again. Wow. Looks like you're done talking. We're going to lower your hand in 3 seconds. That's brand. I have not seen that. Is this just new to me or is this new to other people too?
I haven't seen that. I would say that's new to me too.
Try it on Windows. See if it works on Windows.
I do see, as a co-host, I did see that it said, like John right now, raised hand. It's not telling me.
No. But you have to raise your hand is what I'm saying.
Right. But I just did that and I'm going to see what happens and I'm going to be done talking now.
Right. So now John is done talking. I can take over talking. Let's see if he gets the little pop-up thing. Yeah. Look at that. You can start talking again, by the way. It doesn't, once that pop-up is there, it's not, I guess it stops listening and it will still lower your hand. That's really nice though.
Yeah. So so Zoom is taking a little assumption that because John, they actually noticed that his mic, there's audio coming through the mic and he's been unmuted, that he is talking. So now the raise of hand function can.
That's a really, really nice feature. And that I'd never seen before. Half of my job when I'm running a class is lowering people's hands for them after they've started speaking because they have no idea how to. I'm lucky I got them to raise their hand in the first place. This is really nice.
David, can you just explain that again? You raised your hand.
So let me show you. So let me pull on my Zoom window over here again so I can show you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and raise my hand. I'm just going to click down here and raise hand. So my hand is now raised and I'm speaking and you can see that I've got the button over here that says lower hand. And now if I start, now see there, just did it. Looks like you're done talking, so we'll lower your hand in 3 seconds. Now, actually wasn't done talking. So not that your hand needs to stay up while you're talking, but hold on. So it only did it the
detects
first
when
time.
you're starting to talk, and then it starts a timer, and then counts down and edits.
But it said, well, that's interesting because it says it looks like you're done talking. Let me try this one more time. So I'm going to raise hand. So now my hand is up. I'm talking. I'm not going to stop talking. I don't want it to do anything. I'm just going to talk. Yeah, you're right. Look at that. Well, then that's interesting. Okay, because the text doesn't make sense. It looks like you're done talking. I wasn't done talking. I was in the middle of talking.
Maybe
David,
it's Zoom's way to
June
tell you that you're
5,
talking too much.
Or you had there was, or there was no need to keep your hand up. You're talking.
You're absolutely right, Ray. I agree that it's just the wording is strange because you're right. It really should say you're talking to, shut up, like enough already. I'm putting your hand down. No.
The only thing I can think of from the audio situation is that you did take a breath. Now, depending on the sensitivity as you were talking, maybe that it thought
So
that
from
automatically you stopped. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
from the June 5 release notes, I just searched for the word lower in the release notes. Meeting features, raise hand enhancements. The last sentence says, lastly, after speaking with your hand raised, Zoom will start a countdown to lower your hand unless manually canceled by the user. So
Since
I
June?
believe, yeah, June.
Wow, I've missed that. Well, I love the feature. I think the wording is wrong. They need to, it can't say it looks like you're done talking if you're in the middle of talking. It should just say looks like you've been called on or something. Or
David, can we just try something, please? I'm going to raise my hand, and if you can continue speaking, I want to see what happens if I cough. If I cough, will it start the countdown and then drop my hand or not? 'Cause that's
So
pretty serious, yeah.
right, right, I hear what you're saying. Okay, so I'll keep talking and you go ahead. Okay, so now I'm talking. Robert has his hand raised, and he's going
I'm
to,
coughing.
and he just coughed. And let's see if he gets the pop-up. Does he get the pop-up? Did he get it yet? If you didn't get it, oh, you did get it. Is this, what is it timing from? Is it timing from when?
To me, from the audio world, the only thing I can think of is that maybe there is a bit of a gate, again, until, that in their tweaking of settings that will, again, when we're quiet, of course, it knows we're quiet. But again, as soon as there's some sort of audio going into the client, depending on their sensitivity, would kick it in.
To be very honest with you, this is a problem for me when I'm holding big meetings and people are queuing up, and you're going to call on them in the order that they've queued up. And then someone turns their mic on and there's some background noise or he coughs, he gets knocked out of the queue.
Only if his mic is open. So I wasn't ignoring all of you. I just had my mic open. I was testing this because I raised my hand. So I was silent. Nothing happened. So if I was muted, for example, then the timer wouldn't start. And then I coughed like you did, and then the timer started. So it's if you're muted, it's not an issue. If you're unmuted, you're right. And although, no, you're right. Sorry. If you're unmuted and you cough, then yeah, the hand's going to lower. You're right. Unless they go to cancel it.
Where's the option to switch this off?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
I don't see one.
That sounds like a client thing they would have to add. Or would that be a host thing?
Well, no. So the client has to on the pop-up that we get as a participant says there's a cancel button. You can click cancel and your hand will stay raised, presumably. All right, so now I stopped talking. I started talking. It's doing its countdown, and then I'm going to get a pop-up in a second. That's going to tell me that it's going to lower my hand. I still haven't gotten it yet. Seems a
You're
little
still
red.
talking. Keep talking. Keep talking. Keep talking.
No, but oh no, you know what? It's because I'm not the only one with my hand raised. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Ray has his hand up also, and he's been quiet the whole time.
But you're
I
not done
tested.
talking.
I tested to see if
Now I just got it.
I had the speaker on and to see if when you stopped, my hand went off, but no, it was sensitive just to my microphone.
I'm even more confused now.
I had my hand up and I was not talking, but I was listening through the speaker,
Right.
and I was wondering whether when you stopped talking, that sorry, I'm a radio guy. I'm not used to you seeing me. That was rude.
Oh my God, that was
Can we cut that
hysterical.
out?
No, that was fantastic.
Okay. So I was trying to find out whether it would react to your voice with my speaker open. Now, what's interesting is that it hasn't turned mine off, and I haven't gotten a notice
Because you haven't
of any
stopped talking,
kind.
right? Keep
Well,
going. Keep
but it
going.
was saying to David, it was saying you're
Now it's
starting.
off.
Right.
You just lost it.
Right.
No,
But
but
when
you did.
David was talking, it said, now we're going to lower your hand while you're still talking. And it didn't for a while for me.
Yes, I don't think it's about stopping to talk. I don't think that's the trigger.
It's
I
a
really
timer.
think, yeah, I think you said it before, Ray, is that when it detects you talking or noise, it starts a timer. I don't have no idea how long that timer is, and it seems to be a little inconsistent, at least, whether you're quiet or not. And that's why the language, I think, is not great, because it shouldn't say, looks like you're done talking. It should say,
Well, and the language again, words matter, and most of us don't pay attention to words very much. But it says, lastly, after speaking with your hand raised, which may imply some sort of mechanism to determine that you may have stopped. And so it sounded to me like, Ray Franklin was talking and at some length. And then when he paused, maybe for 1 second, maybe a second and a half, it detects that and then pops up a thing that says, hey, I think you're done, but you can click me if you're not done yet. Maybe you're drinking a thing of water or whatever, but yeah.
Ray, we can't hear you.
You're muted, Ray. Ray.
Have to put so why would it matter, Ray, if my hand goes down? I've still got the mic open and I'm still talking.
Well, the reason it would matter is that the position preference. You know if you have your hand raised and you're the earliest person to have raised your hand, you'll be in that number one gallery position. And then if your hand is no longer raised, and I see this in a lot of meetings, they sort of disappear into the crowd at that point.
But if I'm the active speaker, I'm still talking. Right. I haven't lost my platform.
You're only active speaker number one. Well, I don't know.
When
If
you're
you're looking at the
speaking.
gallery view, you're going to sink back into the gallery where you were.
Where I belong.
right, it's not going to affect, it's not taking you off of active speaker. Active speaker, as I understand, is based on who's making the most noise. That's all that is. You're right. If you're looking at gallery, and this is the problem, I think, Robert, that you are maybe I use, when I'm looking, for example, just at my Stream Deck, when someone raises their hand, it pops them right to the top left, and I can find them easily. It's fantastic. Once their hand is down, and this has happened a number of times, I can't find them anymore if I've got a big meeting. It's very, very difficult to find them. And so a hand going down because Zoom decides that you're done could be a problem in that respect.
So there's that one aspect. And then if you're using ZoomISO, I don't know if we won't lose you from the gallery position number one, because you're no longer in gallery position number one. That I need to test. I don't know that.
You'll most definitely lose them.
Yeah, I think you will, but a good test would help.
Wait. Well, let's do it because I've got OSC open here. So what's Robert? Explain the question
Have
again.
you got ZoomISO open?
No, I don't.
You need ZoomISO.
I need
Yeah,
to
it's an ISO function, not OSC necessarily.
I can join ISO. And we'll take a look at this. Am I going to need my Stream Deck? Because I can't use both with this.
No, not necessarily. No, not
Okay.
for this function. Simple function.
All right. So allow. All right, here we go. Okay, so I am allow. Hold on a second. Make sure that I don't join with audio. Okay, so I am now in this meeting as ZoomISO, and I'll share my screen just so we can see everything, and you'll tell me what I should be doing.
Okay, so now if you raise your hand,
Okay.
oh, you were in position 1 anyway.
Yeah, that didn't help.
My,
Someone else needs
so-
to, yeah.
okay, so I'm going to raise my hand. Okay, I'm in position 1. Okay, now you raise your hand, David. Okay, and assume that no, that's sorry. What are we trying to do? Wrong way around. So now you're in position 1, and you start speaking,
Right.
and then you pause once your hand, and then your hand goes down.
Yeah. Okay, so here, how do I say, let me just, let's view this by where they are though, because that's what we need to look at, right? I'm not sure, how do I see, maybe, give me a second here. I think for one thing, I need to make myself co-host so that,
See, your hand went down, and you left position 1. Okay,
correct.
and the question is, this feed that you have defined the output for on ZoomISO, what did you select? How did you define it?
Ask me that question again.
Okay, in ZoomISO, when you started your ZoomISO machine up and you got permission from the host to run it, you selected the one position. Did you choose a participant and then select your name?
Okay, no, so this is what I've got now. So I have here, hold on a second.
Okay, so what you need to do is in ZoomISO, you need to choose.
Okay, hold on. The angry audios work because I just knocked my headsets out and it just came out. Hold on a second. Oh my goodness.
David, don't get angry.
And your camera's following you. Your camera
Okay.
quit following you because it lost your head.
All right, so here's what I've got going here. So
yeah, I can see your ZoomISO screen.
right,
Okay.
so this is and I've popped out the just a preview. Okay, so this
in position, no, go back, please.
yeah, I know. Sorry.
Okay, in position number 1, whether you see index 1, ZoomISO, under mode, select gallery position.
Yep. Position 1.
Okay. Position 1 is the selection, okay? So now it's showing, what is it showing on your TTG ISO machine?
It's you, well, no, when I speak, it's me, and when you speak, it's you, because that's right.
Sorry, where are you inputting this NDI feed from ZoomISO position 1?
No, I'm not. I'm not inputting.
Yeah, we need to see what it looks like. That's what we're looking for.
No, but I'm showing you. But this is this little window right here, which
Yeah.
I can't seem to make bigger. I don't know why it's.
Okay.
Oh, I see. So let me pop out. So this preview window,
Yeah.
this is now, this is showing it. So Ray is in there now because he jumped into the first position because he raised his hand, presumably.
Correct.
Right. So now if his hand goes down, then yes, this is going to change because the active
I'm going
speaker.
to speak for just a couple of seconds, and after I've said my thing, I will be quiet.
So now he's going to get and eventually his hand will go down, and then whoever's speaking will take over. Well, actually, you will probably take over, Robert, because you're in position 2. Yeah, so there you go. So now you jumped into position 1.
Okay, so this is something that I don't want.
Right. You don't want that gallery position automatically switching.
No.
Yeah.
Now, I remember we did with Jeff a while ago. Did we not have a capability of locking the gallery?
Yeah, but you took
For the host?
Lock the gallery? You can have people follow your gallery, but I don't think you can lock the gallery.
Well, if they're following the host's gallery, then that's locked to the host. Is that what we're trying to prevent? Or
You're
make sure that it's
trying to prevent trying to prevent the person who's in gallery position 1 falling out of gallery position 1 when they're not actually done speaking, even though the hand goes down.
Okay.
And which in a big meeting is probably okay if somebody is going on too long or they don't really know who this person is. But if you've got a major CEO of some other company visiting and he's saying something really important, you don't want that to happen. Yeah, wait, I wasn't done yet. Yeah.
Well,
I think
but
there's
more than
the
that,
classical situation is, okay, let's think about this for a minute. Pause. Bing. Knocked out.
right. And the issue with ISO, I just realized, by the way, that my ISO machine had a beautiful picture of my crotch. I apologize for that. I just turned the camera off. The problem with ISO and this is that if you have ZoomISO grabbing, using gallery mode to grab position 1 and to then feed that into a production or whatever, and gallery 1, and you don't know who's going to be in gallery 1, then, or it could change without you changing that, then that's a problem.
Well, that's not going to be an issue for me from my workflow point of view. But what's going to be the problem is that the person who is speaking and is in position 1 because he's raised his hand suddenly disappears from that position.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So where's the off button?
Have to have a version before June 25th.
So Robert, you haven't run into this point though, correct?
No, I haven't seen this, and I have been using the gallery position, so I don't know what I've done wrong. I know. No, I'm on the latest version of ZoomISO. I thought it was something to do with the SDK, which is usually a couple of iterations behind the main client.
I wonder though, I mean, I would never, I'm not sure that in production I would ever allow a variable control who's on screen, that variable being a hand raise. I think I would.
Yeah, but think of the, sorry, David.
No, I can see why you would do that. It's just yeah. Go ahead.
It's just a matter of losing the order of people putting their hands up. That's where the contention is in terms of using ZoomISO.
Yeah, my workflow is to use spotlighting to make sure that I'm in control. I guess what I'd really need is my Stream Deck to be able to spotlight the person in gallery position 1 and hold them there so that then if they go away, I can, maintain them. And then there's another button to, again, grab that gallery position 1 and put that in the spotlight.
Right. And again, I think that that's kind of my workflow, Ray. And this is maybe why I'm not fully wrapping my head around the dilemma because that Robert's having. For me, as soon as someone raises their hand and they're popped into that top left corner, I essentially spotlight them or I add them to the spotlight. And then I don't need to worry about if they're in that first position of gallery anymore. Once I have them spotlit, it's fine.
Let me explain why.
But with ISO, it's different.
With ISO, it's different.
You're not spotlighting, yeah. Yeah,
because if you imagine like we have two people on the screen. One person is asking questions and one person is hosting the event and people are queuing up to come on screen, ask their question. Okay. So when that person who comes on screen wants to ask their question, if you choose the gallery position number 1, it pops in there, you'd drop the hand on the person before him, and that runs in nicely. Now, what's going to happen now is you're going to get the next person before the first person's finished.
Right.
So,
Right. In that case, you want to be able to control when their hand is lowered.
yeah, but just
Right.
exactly, because if you use spotlighting, remember with spotlight, you can't do spotlight this person and replace it with the second person that I spotlighted. You can't do that. You can replace all, or you can replace one specific. If one person is spotlighted, you can
Which,
replace him.
by the way, is a pain in the tuchus. I just
Well,
have to say, yeah.
That's why gallery position number 1 with your hand up is so cool.
I'm wondering if that can actually be implemented before the actual meeting starts. So during the scheduling the meeting, is that maybe potentially in so you could actually disable that functionality?
There's no setting there to do that currently.
My curiosity, so like in Robert's case, that would be if Robert was setting up the meeting to make sure that there was a master override at the admin level of the host level of the meeting so that Robert did have that
Well,
capability of doing that.
and what I've run into meetings before is people, have raised their hand, they've been called on, and they go, I'm going to go ahead and lower my hand, but I'm going to continue to speak. Maybe we need a checkbox just below allow participants to raise their hand that says allow participants to lower their hand. If we could set both of those, turn on the ability to raise your hand, but turn off the ability to lower your hand, then once someone raised it, they're in line. I don't know, for someone who then says, "Oh, I don't want to
That
speak."
sounds like right. That sounds like
Yeah,
you must
that's
speak.
worse.
You
Yeah, you raised your hand. I'm sorry, you got some words you got to say. The other thing that popped into my mind while we're talking about this is I wonder how production studio really handles raised hands. I haven't really, do you actually have to swap a scene in with the appropriate people, or is there a way to have the raised hand person automatically pop into an open slot on
Yeah,
a?
but with production studio, can you use production studio for meetings?
No.
No, so we're in a webinar situation. So I think we have a different group of people there. I don't
Yeah.
use raised hands in a webinar at all because it doesn't provide any value from. The raised hands is only with the participants who raise their hands and you can see them, but that doesn't affect us, I'm assuming here.
Well, we actually do in a couple of my client sessions, we allow the raised hands. If they can put a question in the Q&A, but if they want to actually take the floor and do that, we'll allow them, and we can allow them to speak. We don't actually get their video unless we promote them to panelists. That to me is the real issue, is that if you really want to get their video, now you have to promote them to panelists, which is another whole ball of wax.
Well, you can do it a different way. You can open a breakout room and put him into a breakout room and then grab him from there.
Yeah.
David, did you want to talk about the comments that Curtis mentioned from YouTube?
You can share it, yeah.
Okay, sure. So basically, Curtis was saying when we were talking about the ability to turn this off would be advantageous, especially in a parliamentary type Zoom meeting, to keep a queue for sure. He was saying, and also the ability to adjust the length of silence or inactivity before prompting a hand to lower automatically doing it.
Well, a queue, I mean, that's what the hand raising is now, I believe, yes? At least because I just want to try something. So I'm going to raise my hand. Can someone raise their hand after me? And then, okay. So in what I'm looking at here is I'm looking in the participant panel, which I understand most people don't actually pop this out. But so in the gallery view, it changed the different people. Also in the participant view, Oh, see, my hand just went down, so I moved out of gallery position 1 and I didn't put it down.
I think
Yeah,
you're
that,
starting to understand what I've been referring to, David.
yeah. I've never witnessed this before. This is honestly the strangest thing. I've never experienced this before. In any case, it also orders, it gives you a queue in your participants panel because all those hands jump up. So that's the queue piece of this puzzle. Adjust the length of silence or inactivity. I'm still not convinced. Sorry, not convinced. I'm not clear still on how Zoom is judging when the hand should be put down. It's not, I don't know when it's counting down from. It's not clear to me.
I can tell you that, David. It's a function of the exponential of the length of you talking from the beginning of the meeting.
I understood maybe 3% of what you just said.
Because you weren't meant to. I was just joking.
Okay. The exponential of the this, of the that.
But yet Robert was talking and his hand is still up.
And he stopped, and yours is too. I wonder if you're going to, maybe it just doesn't like me. I don't know. Did you get the notification yet, Mike? Yeah, you did. So
Just
yours
did.
is down now, but Robert's is still up.
Because
That's
I
interesting.
muted my mic immediately after I'd finished talking. So it didn't get a chance to do that. No, that doesn't make sense.
So obviously you don't have to raise your hand to speak here. So I'm just going to throw a
We should all just
suggestion out
stop
there.
raising hands.
Can you try to kill BitFocus Companion?
That one more time?
Can you kill BitFocus Companion? Terminate it or stop it?
I think David's hands will start shaking if he has to kill a companion.
Yeah, because you have this trigger. Maybe the trigger is talking to your Zoom.
Oh, good one, Ronnie.
Maybe.
David, you're still on mute. I might be on purpose.
Sorry. I just turned the trigger off. So now when you raise your hand, you won't get the way we know it's off is one, because I can see it, but also because we're not getting those "you're up next" messages. So now the trigger's off. I'm going to stop talking. My hand is raised. And now I got see, it took a lot longer this time for me to get it because I don't think it's from when you start talking. I think it's from when it thinks you stop talking, but that has been at best inconsistent.
What if two people with their hands raised are having a dialogue?
Right.
Well, I'm having a dialogue with you, Ray. And what do you think about that?
I think everything that you say. I hang on, Robert. Obviously. Oh,
But
I lost my hand.
I haven't got the message yet. Oh,
But you brought my hand down.
But here's the thing. Just bear in mind, if you're having a dialogue, you don't need your hands raised.
Fact.
For
But
production,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. But again, I think what we're going to say to that, David, is that Zoom doesn't know that the two people that are talking have the hands up. It just thinks
Robert still has his hand up.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything, and I didn't get the message either. So there seems to be a certain amount
It's
of.
got to be translated, Robert, into Polish.
No, I think, David, what I said initially, it's to do with the amount of talking you've been doing since the beginning of the meeting in your case.
Let me try. Let me and Robert try this. So I'm going to raise my hand. And I'm starting to talk. And nice to see you again, Robert.
Yeah, it's really good to see you. I'm going to butt in and just see what's happening. I haven't received any message except the lower hand on my screen.
Are you
I just received the message now.
Are you on vanilla Zoom?
Yes, I am.
Same here.
That's crazy.
Robert, what version?
Just 1 minute and I'll check.
And for that sake, too, Ronnie, what version?
I'm on
I'm at
5.16.10.
Okay, I'm at 517.1.
Ronnie's latest, Robert's not.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing it either, and I'm on 516 on my production machine here. So that could be that maybe there was I don't know. Was it gone for a while?
So I think this is the way the Smurf effect has been solved. If you stop talking, then you don't be Smurf because they throw you off the screen.
Yeah, they replaced the Smurf effect with auto lowering the hands.
Can't talk till you're blue in the face.
So it's definitely something with the the latest version. Robert,
I'm-
would you?
I missed
could I
that. What did
dare
we
you
decide
to?
about? Is Robert on? Is he? I missed that. Is he not updated? And you think that something in 517.1 is?
Yeah.
Yeah, if Robert is at 516, so could I dare you to upgrade your Zoom client?
Just give me a second. I'm going to just look at my calendar and what's coming up next if I'll manage to.
I'm going to pop off and be back in a minute.
Yeah, Ray's also on 516. So Ray will be right back.
This Ray will fill in while that's my purpose, to fill in for the Rays.
This is really interesting.
We're hardly the scientists at Zoom who
No,
certainly
hardly.
have been through this. So I think it's an interesting exercise.
Let's just wait for Ray to come back because on the 5th, I have an event where it's a meeting with 1,000 people in it, and they ask questions by raising their hands, and I don't want this to happen.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
On my MacBook, I have 517.0. I could try to just join the meeting and see if that is also.
Ronnie, did you pull your hand down now? Because your hand's gone down.
Yeah, I canceled it
Okay.
a few minutes back, and now I'm manually taking it down.
Ronnie, that 5.17.0 is the ATEM Blue Smurf version.
You must
I was
be the
planning
only
on
person who
keeping
has
it.
Keep it. Let's take a few pictures. I'd like to join that one.
The best one was still Tony. I'm sorry. Sorry, Tony, but you were the best Blue Man group we saw. Well, thought we
Actually,
were
I
going
think
to
it was
see it.
someone else, Ray. There was another person who swears that he never updates his computers. As soon as a new update comes out, he always waits, and he went completely blue.
Yep. Well, I'm still on 0.0 and I never saw it, but I'm on Windows and I don't have an ATEM.
Is that version 14?
I'm at 17.0, but I don't have, I'm
Interesting.
on PC.
Did I just get a pop-up that Robert re-raised his hand? Ray, did
Yes.
you see that?
I see Robert raised his hand.
No, I didn't. Oh,
You did.
David must have switched on his companion back on
Oh, what does that have to do with anything?
because my hand was raised, so it sent out the message.
Well, yeah, but I turned that on a little while ago. But we just got a message on our screens that says Robert raised his hand.
No idea.
All right, is Ronnie back?
Didn't change the setting on that.
Yeah, Ronnie's now logged in with his 5.17.
Old Desert Lizard says doing 2 updates would only go 5.17.0, now 5.17.1.
That's interesting. It wouldn't jump him directly to 517.1. He had to do each one. All right, so Ronnie 517.0 now has his hand up. And here comes Ray.
Yeah, and I'm speaking now and see what happens on my end. It's nothing yet. And there are the messages.
So it did happen. Well, it happened to Ray on his 5.17.0 too. Ray Franklin, correct?
Yes.
So Ronnie, your hand is still up.
Yeah, I unmuted before I hit the timer, so I'm trying again. I'm waiting for the message to appear and see if it's appearing. Nothing yet, and still talking. Maybe I should shut up.
And
Nope,
on the
nothing happens.
participants, we still have 2 hands up.
Yeah. So maybe it's the 0.1. Oh no, but Ray, you said yours went down.
Yeah, Ray on Windows 5.17.0.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ronnie,
his-
are you Mac or Windows?
I'm on Mac.
Oh, so maybe there's also a Mac PC thing. So Ray now has his hand up and Robert has his hand up. And
Yeah,
Ronnie.
it took me a while. I had to do both updates because it would only go to 5.17.0
Right.
from 5.16.
Yeah,
Does
we
it-
had
Can it
old-
usually skip update points?
It's a major update, so very often it doesn't want to go directly to a subsequent update.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not a sub update. It's a full update. 2 point equivalent to
Oh,
the
there's my
5.17
little,
versus 16.
Yeah, I got the pop-up, but I canceled it because I don't want to put my hand down.
Okay, so let me try once again. I'll speak a little bit and see when the timer appears. I do not want to mute my microphone like I did the previous time. There is no message here.
Yeah, but Ronnie, where are you? Where's your mic connected? Where's your audio going in? Because
I think this is a 0.1 thing, and I also think
Oh,
It's
it
a
happened on
0.1.
0.0 as well.
right, but it's not working for you is the point. You're not
It
getting
just
the
did-
pop-up.
It just did. David.
Oh, I'm sorry, it did. I apologize. I missed that. All right, so it is working for you.
So this is definitely a 5.17 thing. Then it sounds like.
But they announced it. When did you, Ray? When did you say that? I was just searching for the announcement of this. Where did you say you found it? Back in June or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
June
Ray,
5th.
Yeah.
June 5th. June 5th.
Yeah, search for the word lower in your browser. You'll find it.
Yeah. Well, it's actually giving me a whole bunch of
And I am looking at the Windows version for June 5th.
this is not wanting to. Give me a second.
John, you wanted to test as well? Or do you have a legit question?
Well, I was going to see if after Robert spoke, it would cue that I'm in the number 1 position.
okay, I'm going to speak now. 1, 2. I need to see my mic levels anyway. So I'm looking at the meters, and it seems as if it's more or less the right level.
All right, here are, sorry that took me so long. Here are the release notes. So let's, raise hand enhancements. This is back from June 5th. Visibility of participants that have raised their hands is enhanced to make it easier for us to be aware of raised hands. A new notification will appear for those who raise their hand with the option to immediately open the participant panel to take action, such as requesting their unmute to ask their question, okay? And the audio chime. Lastly, after speaking with your hand raised, Zoom will start a countdown to lower your hand unless manually canceled by the user. After speaking with your hand raised. Yeah, I don't, okay. They need an off switch for this, I think. For those of us that are using, unless are you, Robert, you're in vanilla, or are you in with ISO right now?
No, I'm on a vanilla client.
Because I wonder if maybe if it's possible that ISO turned this off. Actually, let me wait. I'm in OSC. Let's see if all right, so I just raised my hand. Did I? I don't even know. Yeah, I did. So oh, but I'm gonna have to I don't know how to test the mute here.
David, I'm
John,
just going to try
go
one
ahead.
more thing because I've turned the chimes on and I'm going to see if that affects it at all.
Robert is gonna have his hand up for the rest of the weekend.
No, it doesn't affect it.
Nothing. That is really fascinating. So
I put my hand down now.
yeah. John, are you actually raising your hand, or are you? Now we're all afraid to actually raise our hand.
I
Go
got
ahead,
the
John,
message to unmute, and now I'll talk a little bit, and now I will release the floor back to David.
What version are you on? Are you 517? Yeah.
Got one.
And there it did it.
And it's gone. Okay. So what we've learned, it seems to me, is that unless you're using this with ISO to grab gallery position 1 and feed that into whatever you're doing, this seems like a great tool. It helps people not have to remember to lower their hand. But if you need the persistence of gallery position 1 for production, then it's a problem. Although, to be honest, you never really had control over who's in position gallery 1 because anybody at any moment can lower their own hand. Right? So for Robert, for your use case,
That is true, but sorry to interrupt you, David, but you know what I've found is that when people start talking and they see themselves on the screen, they're not looking to lower their hands. They're just going full out for their 2 minutes of fame. So, but maybe this workflow of mine is specific. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing that is useful in this with this functionality.
Well, for me, the useful part of this is when we have 6 or 7 people raise their hands and they aren't paying attention to the point where, once they get to the position 1, they get a pop-up that says, you're going to be next. And that has turned out useful in some of our events.
right, but even more, what's specific to the lowering hand piece, what's useful to me about that is if I'm in a big meeting and like everyone else here, and I'm calling people based on their hands raised, if I don't know the names, if I don't know the people, and the person in gallery position 1 finishes speaking and doesn't put their hand down, I would have to think twice about, okay, who's next? As opposed to after a certain period of time, their hand automatically goes down and the next person is queued up. This is what Chris was talking about when he asked about a queue. That's really what this is now. Now that the hand goes down automatically, we now have a functional queue for every situation except when the persistence of gallery position 1 is important for its use in ISO, I think. At least I think that's what we've got.
So,
Asma. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Asma.
Hasmuk, did you want to jump in? No, he does not.
So David, the other thing that escapes me from the minutia of details that we have to remember is if we've got 3 or 4 people who are have their hands raised and you spotlight someone else, does the spotlighted person go in front of the queue in a gallery view, or is that only important in the speaker view? You muted.
Right. If you spotlight, so this is, okay, so I have, here's how we can test this. I won't really be able to show it, but because of course, when I spotlight someone, everyone is going to switch to spotlight. You're going to lose your gallery view. But I have in my OSC machine, as soon as I spotlight someone, it automatically reverts to gallery view. So I'll be able to see who's in gallery view. So let's do, let's have a few people raise their hands. So Robert just raised his hand. It'll never go down again. And Ronnie raised his hand. So now in my gallery view, in everyone's gallery view, Robert is in position 1, Ronnie is in position 2, Pete is, hey Pete, good to see you. Pete is in position 3. So now I'm gonna grab Mr. Idelson and I'm gonna make him, I'm gonna spotlight him. So now in gallery view, he did not take gallery position 1. He's now in gallery position 4. So the spotlight falls after all of the hands that are raised. Okay. And now that I unspotlighted him, he moved back to gallery position 5, which is where he was before.
Yeah. And my issue, David, is as follows. If Pete now, while I'm talking and he's queued up and there's say 100 people in the queue, unmutes himself and says something, he'll drop out of the queue if he doesn't notice that he needs to keep his hand up.
Okay, so let's do that. So Pete, do you know what before? Are you on 517, Pete? Do you know?
Oh, I just got knocked off.
Yeah, you did. How did you just get knocked off?
I didn't get a message. Unless I wasn't paying attention.
You just got...
Hang on a second, let me find out.
You just got knocked off and you didn't get a message?
No, well, I didn't notice the message, put it that way. Maybe it did come, but I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at something else.
Huh. All right, so now I've got Ronnie in 1. This is like pole position. Like I've got Ronnie in position 1, Robert in position 2, and Ray in position 3. So Robert, not Robert. So Ray, yeah. So if Ray says unmutes himself or coughs, then
hello,
you're
everybody.
right.
I'm just going to jump in.
Wait,
for
hold
a
on,
second
Ray.
and
Hold
say
on one
2
second. Ray, hold on one second. I was still going with right. So that we were simulating there. Now, presumably, in a moment, his hand's going to go down. Excuse me, and he will drop from the queue. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah.
Rodney, did you also drop from the queue? Yeah. Robert is still there.
You're not going to believe this, but I got the message just now. I got the message, but I threw it off, and so I rejected it, and so I stayed on. But it did come up.
That is very strange. Huh.
So maybe it's something to do, and I don't know where I rejected it, to tell you the truth. I'm going to try again.
There's a cancel button in line with the message.
Yeah, but I didn't press that cancel.
Just a secondary note. It seems that you also cancel it if you mute using the Zoom mute button in the lower left corner.
Wait.
That's what I think.
What? You can't, if you mute, well, that's counterintuitive. If you mute yourself, then you cancel the lowering of your hand.
The opposite of what it should be.
Right.
Yeah,
Really?
because the muting should actually automatically lower your hand.
Right.
Let's test that.
Wait, now everyone's raising their hand to try it. Remember when I said I really appreciated the beep, beep, beep from the hand raise?
Well, I think this is the gift that keeps on giving. We've done how long on raising our hands? We needed something like this then, 2023.
We really did. This is a good one. All right, I'm going to try this also. So I'm going to raise my hand. So my hand is up now, and I'm going to stop talking, and then I'm going to mute myself when I get the message. Now I muted myself, and it still lowered my hand.
What version are you on?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What version are you on?
5.17.1.
Okay.
Yeah. Auto lowering of hand after speaking for some time is a very nice feature. Leslie Booth, our Leslie Booth from YouTube. Yes, it is. If we could just figure out how it works. We can't quite figure it out.
You know,
It
That's
did
why we be
cancel.
testing.
It did cancel the. It didn't cancel on 5.17.1. It did cancel it on 5.17.0.
Oh, the mute button. Oh, fascinating.
So in the new version, they broke it.
Robert, were you saying something? Sorry.
I just wanted to say something to see if the message would come up. And again, I'm going to shut up now.
At this point, I can't tell who actually wants to say something or not. So Pete or Tony, you have your hand up. If you'd like to say something, please, by all means, just jump in.
No, I just wanted to try it out and see what it does. So I'm going to stop talking now.
Yeah, and tell us what you see on your end. Robert's hand is still up. Ray, thank you so much. Have a lovely, lovely time with your family, and Happy New Year. Ray Hardwood's just taken off, saying goodbye to you.
Hi, Ray. I wonder if it's muting myself or just moving my mouse over the client, because that's something I did. So I'm going to try again.
Thinking
So
maybe it recognizes that you're trying to get to the cancel button, and it's giving you points for effort. A for effort. You tried.
Yeah, I did get the cancel button, but
You did.
But the interesting thing is that you really have to be paying attention to see it. If you're not paying attention, you won't see it.
And also, we started this whole day talking about the new notifications up at the top. This is not up at the top. This is not, well, actually now I've kind of forgotten. It's at the bottom, right? Yeah, it's right where the lower hand icon comes up. But I think you're right, Tony. This is not a big splash screen in the middle. There we go. I just got the pop-up. Yeah, I mean, it's a blue button. It says cancel.
I have not seen that button yet, but
But you said you did see it before, yes or no?
and I saw the message come up. I didn't see the button. I just muted myself, like Ronnie mentioned, and then the message went away.
But next to the message, it didn't say, there wasn't a blue button that said,
I didn't pay enough.
Wow.
I didn't pay enough.
He may not be seeing the button because he's still on the older version.
Yeah, maybe. Right, maybe, yeah, maybe the look of the message has changed. You're right. I am befuddled. This is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. All around, I do think it's a good idea. I absolutely think it's a good idea. Again, with the caveat that for Robert, this messes up his whole workflow. How do you find the version, Pete? If you go to, just go to when your client is open, go to on a Mac, go to zoom.us, and then there's a check up in the menu bar. Then there's a check for updates button.
Yeah,
which
in the Windows version, you would actually go down to your icon and then you go into your about, and that'll get you your version for Windows.
Great, thank you. I think my workflow every day now is I open Zoom, I check for updates. I always want to be on that latest and greatest.
I did until Blue Man Group.
Oh yeah, and then you
That's the one
stopped,
that I
right?
didn't, that's the only one I didn't do. And I was amazed.
Wow. Huh. Oh my. Oh, Ray, you're muted.
I wonder what AI is going to say in summarizing this conversation. This
That
will be
every
this will be a
that
test for AI
That's
because I'm
funny.
not sure where we are.
Oh, you know what I didn't do? Speaking of AI, last week I recorded part of our meeting so that we could try the whatever it's called, the teach me how to be a better Zoomer. I forget what they call it. Let's see here.
I officially did ask Ray, and AI has responded, and I put it in chat. Oh, you did it as well.
Wait, what did it say?
Based on the meeting transcript, the participants discussed various topics related to Zoom's hand-raising feature and software versions. They mentioned the new feature of auto-lowering hands after speaking, but they seem to have difficulty understanding how it works. Aren't we cute? Zoom AI has a sense of humor. Continuing, as they talked about different software versions such as 5.17.0 and 5.17.1 and the need to update to the latest version, overall the meeting focused on exploring and understanding the hand-raising feature and its functionality.
It's not bad.
Not very useful, but
Oh,
in
no,
other words, we couldn't send this to Zoom to say this is what we researched.
no, I think it was great. The only thing it was missing is a reference to which doctors we should go see to deal with this condition.
Oh my goodness. Why am I
Unfortunately, I have to bail. Gentlemen, ladies, have a happy new year. We're blessed to have this group and this participation, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Honored to have you. What a blessing.
Thanks,
But I have a
folks.
good one.
See
Take
you
care.
next year.
I promise.
All right. I'm still trying to get into
David's still breaking things. Back to David.
I'm not trying to break things. I'm trying to get into my recordings. But because I'm a good doobie and I have every, of two-factor on everything, I can't get into
Good.
any of my accounts.
Good. And as long as you're running the latest client, your SSL protected too. Good.
Yes. So I have to keep all of my. Robert's hand is still raised.
We need one of those songs talking about raise your hands up. Okay.
Poor Robert.
No, I wasn't paying attention because I just found something in the settings that really made me start thinking.
What's that?
Under recording, under cloud recording, you can manage your cloud recording from the client. Now the question is, what does that mean? If you, David, give me permission to record in the cloud, do I record? I know we talked about this, but I haven't seen this option up to now. Because when I clicked on it, I went to my portal settings and I can see all of my cloud recording settings. So it's looking at my settings for my client. But what happens when you give me permission to cloud record?
When I give you permission to well, you have to request it.
You have to give me permission to request it.
No, that's already on. Request host to start cloud recording. That's already, there you go. So Robert, I'm going to click.
Yeah, but I asked you for local recording, didn't I?
No, you were saying cloud. You want local?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So no, so now I just enabled both. And I got one of those new pop-ups at the top. While he's doing this, does anyone know what was that thing called that what was it where it would tell you like how to be a better, you know, how to do better in the meeting? Do you all know what am I out of my mind, or this is like
better.
right?
Oh,
it analyzes the recording and then
right. That is more of a Zoom Enterprise.
It was in the sales section, I
tool.
remember.
Yes,
but I thought it
you
was
would use that for sales teams and such. Yeah, correct.
right. But how do you where is it? That's what I can't find. Because I have I intentionally recorded last week's meeting so that we could do this. 22nd. Let's quick recap. That's the meeting summary. It is funny looking at these and like all the next steps from last week. Tony, you were going to consider using an extension with your Lincoln earphones. Ray was going to test the data center connectivity for the YouTube group. Robert, you were going to check with your tech guy about the Zoom settings. That's so funny.
And Robert agreed that he did. So there you go.
Yeah, I still don't. I don't know how to access that one feature though. Does anyone know what it's called? Like, I don't know. Oh well. Robert, did you figure anything else out?
No, that was a silly question on my side because the cloud recording has to be in your cloud, so nothing's changed there.
So when you request cloud recording, you're asking me to record it in my cloud.
Correct.
Right. Gotcha.
I've got the local recording, but I don't have the cloud recording.
Gotcha.
That new pop-up, David, I did notice that it actually had an info button, the infamous Zoom info button, and it actually gave details of, so that you did have more information should you be concerned about either saying okay or leaving the meeting.
Oh, up at the top? What do you click on the more info, or can you just hover over it?
Click and it'll stay.
Gotcha.
For Windows. Don't know what, of course, does on Mac.
I wonder how much
allowed me to do on Windows.
I wonder how much time Zoom and other companies puts into creating parity between the two platforms, the Mac and the PC platforms. I wonder if that's important as far as, where things belong and where things go. And
in the software world that I've worked in, it depends on if there are multiple teams, meaning if there's OS-based teams. So, if there's a Windows team, if there's a Mac team, if there's a Linux team, if there's a Rooms team, then it depends on how much of the same base code that all of them actually share. Now, in theory, depending on how they develop the actual clients in the back end, in theory, the base code should should officially be all the same in the regards of how they are developing it. Because again, of course, the more the more deviation between the clients in the operating systems also will mean too that the SDK is only based on a certain client, right? Because again, they come up with the SDK. I don't know if Andy actually said it was before or after they put out the latest releases. And I don't have anybody else that would know from the group, I don't think.
I know the SDKs come out afterwards. Yeah, they come out afterwards.
It's after they do another release of the client. So again, it would then depend on what client are they basing it on? Because obviously Mac might have functionality that Windows doesn't, or vice versa. So that's quite interesting too. So Pete, did you figure out what version you are on?
I can't. Sorry, I can't find it here at all.
Okay. Again, if you're so in the Zoom client that you're in right now, if you take a look where it's in your taskbar, you're running Windows, Pete, correct? Yeah. So in your actual taskbar at the bottom, you should see the ZM, the Zoom actual client that's minimized. If you just right mouse click on that, you should be able to get a pop-up that actually will give you different functionality, and in there should be about.
I don't have it here.
Okay. The other way to do it too is to click on your actual client itself in Windows. And let me just see if I can mimic it for you. That's the easiest way that I do it all the time. Oh. Yeah, there we go. If you can actually pull up the actual main Zoom client, then of course you can go to the settings button and then click on, then you go all the way down to, where is it in here? Just trying to see if there's an easy way. Yes, if you go to statistics, you'll see the version number there as well in the overall.
5.16.10.
Yeah, so you're on the same version that Robert is.
By the way, I'm just thinking about you, Robert, and the dilemma that this update poses. It's interesting to me that the update, apparently this update took place or happened in June, but it's only affecting you. Obviously, there was some other change from 5.16 to 5.17, and I mean, we'd have to really scour through the notes to see is there something in the, did they think there was a bug or something and they fixed it? The fact that it wasn't obviously in the notes, it's problematic because it causes a real struggle for you.
Or maybe, David, I just haven't updated my computer since June, and I've just done that now.
It's possible too.
There's something else. I'm sure it's not that, but you're right that it's the inability to predict what's going to happen in a certain situation is very stressful.
And again, we're only talking about very small minority of people using Zoom this way, but nonetheless, it's the paying minority. Yeah, interesting. It worked for Robert once, and his hand is still up. Wow.
It's amazing, isn't it? Maybe I should just lower my hand, raise it again.
Try it. See what happens. It's down, and it's back up.
And I'm going to say something now so that the 6 seconds starts counting.
And now we'll see what happens.
Oh, it's come up with a big blue box cancel. And when I muted my mic and it disappeared. So Ronnie was right.
You muted your mic and it disappeared, but that didn't work. Oh, now I have to try it again. Hold on. This is crazy.
Robert, right. Just to confirm, this is Mac, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Crazy. So I started talking and I'm going to stop talking.
Are you sure about that, David?
All right. I got the thing. Now I'm going to mute. It's still there. Didn't work.
Bingo.
For me. I have to wonder, by the way, there are two other factors in here. One is does this work the same way if someone else's hand is raised? Does it work the same way if someone else's hand is raised and they're in front of you? So if they're in position 1, gallery position 1, you're in gallery position 2, does that affect it? I can't imagine that this would have anything to do with it, but I have a pretty complex audio system that's feeding into Zoom. I wonder if maybe when I mute Zoom, and I'm muting Zoom, I'm not muting my mic, is it dependent on what kind of mic you're using? I don't, there's so many factors, I don't know.
Well, I put my hand up, so if you wanted to test any of those scenarios, David, go for it.
All right, so I put my hand up, and now I'm gonna stop talking.
Interesting. For Windows, it didn't do that for me because I did mute as soon as I saw that it did that. Oh, no. Wait, hold on. Let me try this again. I'm going to try that again. Go for it.
Yeah, mute has no effect on me whatsoever. I mean, yeah, when I mute, it has no effect on that for me whatsoever.
All right, and I'm going to start talking. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, and I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah, but
Folks-
Mike has you've muted.
Yeah, I did. When I stopped talking, then I muted myself. But again, it didn't kick me out of the countdown. It still kept going.
Okay.
It
The
didn't actually,
the
even
replay
though
of
I
this
didn't.
show is going to be fantastic. It's going to be lots of talking and then silence, just over and over and over again.
We're going to do an awesome job to YouTube too. They're going to like, what are these guys doing?
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
All right, so Tony had his hand. And by the way, here's another factor. If someone else like me keeps butting in and talking after you've stopped talking, does that affect? And what Ray tried, you know, if there's sound that bleeds in, does that affect? Now, Tony, your hand didn't go down.
I did cancel it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I canceled it and I stayed in the room. So we're having a couple of different things going on. So you can cancel it and it still drops you out. And you can cancel it and you stay in the room.
No, I'm pretty sure if you cancel it, you stay with your hand raised. I don't think it
Correct.
drops you out. Yeah.
Yeah. But in Robert's situation, you didn't. You just hit mute, Robert. And the countdown kept going and it stayed. Correct or no?
No, I don't know if the countdown kept going because it just disappeared. The message disappeared off the screen.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. When I muted, like I talked, I put it up, I talked, then I muted. My countdown kept going. And then when the countdown and I didn't touch it, it did take my hand up, down.
Now I muted and it did not take me down.
I think we've spent all this time working on this. And at the end of the day, it's that Robert has like a squirrel living in his machine or something. That's doing something.
I wonder if there isn't something else to it that because I muted my mic before the message was over, before I got to 6. Maybe that stops the message from regenerating because it knows that I am in this mode of speaking every now and then being quiet.
Yeah, that was what I saw as well. So if you mute before the message, the countdown has reached 0, it cancels the countdown.
Not on 5.17.1, at least not for me.
But I think you need to be careful because if you may be hitting that moment when it's hitting the 6 seconds and you're canceling. You need to cancel at the 5th second, David.
No, I've been muting. The message is up and then I wait a second, and then I hit mute. And
Okay.
it keeps counting down for me.
Okay.
But
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
3 4 3 4. In any case,
I've got a fresh hand up and I'm going to try it again. And this time it's appeared and it's at 8 seconds and not 6. And it looks as if, and I did nothing and it disappeared. So it looks as if you cancel it in the first 6 seconds or 8 seconds, whatever it is, then it doesn't reappear. And that's what I was having before. It's nothing to do with the version. Yeah.
that makes sense. If you take
Okay, I'm still
action
up.
to actively cancel it, you're right. It's not going to keep popping back up. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, but I didn't cancel it. I just muted my mic. Let me just see if that works. Okay, now this is a couple of things that I need to say, and then I'm going to be quiet. And I've got the message now, and I'm going to mute. That's what it is. The message came up, I muted my mic, the message disappeared. And my feeling is that it's not going to appear anymore now.
Yeah, that's not consistent behavior, though.
I think it is.
No, not because it's not working for me.
Okay,
Whether that and you're on a Mac, right? Sorry, remind me.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's a difference between 516 or 517.1 or something like that. But the mute button does nothing. And wait, well, hold on. Sorry, I want to try one more thing because I've been pressing it on my Stream Deck. Let me actually mute myself in the client. Let me try that. Okay, hand is up and talk, talk, talk.
This is an amazing moment. David is not talking. It's quiet.
Dun, dun, dun.
You know what? All right, now I'm at 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That's
You agree.
insane. So the hotkey to mute doesn't work, but if you physically click the mute button and it's so counterintuitive. You want it to do the opposite. You want your hand to go down if you mute. That is so interesting.
Let us try muting the MixPre 3.
That is so interesting.
This is very inconsistent. So we have to talk to one of our friends at the big 4-letter company.
Not only is it inconsistent, it's going to be very difficult to explain to people who are on a meeting.
Yeah, if not impossible, because it's it's illogical.
Yeah, and there are several cases of this being illogical. So it's really difficult.
Right now, and also when I tried it too on Windows, am I doing so? It's actually working properly for me, where it's not for Mac. Is that right? Or did I miss something there?
What
It's
does
working properly. It's just strange, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Sorry, Mike. When you press the mute button, what happened?
When I press the mute button on my end, that the pop-up of the countdown still continues.
Ah.
But you press the physical mute button in your Zoom client.
Correct.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay.
On Windows.
You're not using a
On
hotkey or anything like that. Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
Old school.
All right. All right. So there you go. So maybe that's the difference between PC and Mac.
Roland
Oh,
has joined us. Roland wanted to try this as well. He's been asking me on YouTube. So come on in,
All right.
Roland.
Come on in, Roland. Give it a shot. Give it a try. While he's coming up, last call before 2024. Does anyone have anything else? You are not allowed to have any other questions about Zoom until 2024, unless you've got them now.
Well, I don't have a question, but I'm more of a comment. As at the end of this year, I give up my business license. And it was an interesting process of setting up a separate account to get all the new licenses that I purchased, including Zoom sessions. And what's interesting is on the account where I'm giving up my business account, I also have some additional packages that I bought. And I'm waiting to see what happens when I migrate or move that account under the owner, the new owner, because that's going to be a really interesting one. In the past, when I've done it, it refunds you for the unused part and you lose those licenses. It'd be interesting to see what it does this time.
And you couldn't just change your license type under the same user?
No,
physically-
because if you're a business client, then I could buy sessions, that's no problem. But I couldn't fill in any pro accounts because I wanted a bunch of pro accounts. I wanted 5 pro accounts just to throw in there.
Right.
Because you're a business client, it won't allow you to buy those licenses. And so what I asked Zoom to do is to put those licenses on my account and make them renewable as of the 1st of the next year, which they did, but that messed up all of my settings in the business account. I lost all sorts of functionality in the business account. And then it took me 3 weeks to clarify that and make them understand what had happened. And they reverted it back to the same situation that I was in a month ago. So there was no change on that one.
There's making transitions in Zoom has not been as easy. It also wasn't very easy for me when I transitioned into the business account.
With the business account, it's easy because you upgrade. The issue is to downgrade. They don't allow you to downgrade.
Right. Well, they want to keep your money. Can't blame them. Can't blame them. All right, folks. I think I'm going to call it. Right in the dot.
Go for it, David.
I'm calling it. Guys, I want to wish each of you just peace and health, and for everyone, this Zoom stuff is fun, but let's not forget that what really matters is the connections that we've made with one another, and everyone's health and peace, and we should just all have good things. Everyone, we should just all have good things in the new year. So hoping that for all of you. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, David. Bye.
Next year.
Next year. We'll see you next year. See you next year. Take care, guys.
And next week.
And next week.
Same time, same station.
Next month, and whatever.